Officer to ask the First Minister what urgent action the Scottish Government is taking to restore and support contact between family carers and older and disabled people living in care homes, which is considered essential to their mental, emotional and physical well-being.
First Minister.
Well, obviously, I've already given some answers to this question in response to Willie Rennie, but I know, and I want to, I hope nobody doubts this, but I want to just make it clear that I understand how difficult this time is for people who have loved ones in care homes. Restrictions on visiting your loved ones is the most challenging thing that I think any of us can imagine. Visiting is a fundamental part of the health and well-being of people who live in care homes. Guidance was published on 25th June, which outlined a staged approach to the return of visiting, and currently limited outdoor and indoor visiting is recommended provided strict criteria are met. Balancing the risks to care homes from COVID exposure and from reduced social interaction needs to take account of a range of factors, including that many residents we know are more vulnerable to the effects of COVID exposure. And that, of course, becomes an ever more important and challenging consideration when community prevalence is on the rise as it is now. But we hope to open up further visiting options for families as soon as it is safe to do so.
Monica Lennon.
I thank the First Minister for her response, and I am pleased that the Health Secretary will meet with Cathy Russell and engage with the Care Home Relatives Scotland group. What I would say to both Willie Rennie and the First Minister is that this is not just about the timetabling of visits. It's about recognising and reinstating family caregivers as equal partners in their loved ones' care. We all want to eliminate the virus, but we also need to address the psychological and physical harms of separating care home residents from their families. Experts and campaigners call it a hidden catastrophe. Sunday Mail editor Lorna Hughes wrote movingly about the guilt she feels about her mother being alone in a care home, and there are thousands more like her. We need to change the story before it's too late. We must end this hidden catastrophe in care homes and avoid a winter of separation. So can I ask the First Minister to agree that family caregivers are important partners and that the Scottish Government finds a way to urgently change the guidance in order to facilitate their vital role?
First Minister.
Yes is my immediate answer to that. I do recognise, and I think it is an important point, that there is a wider principle at stake here, which is that we're not just talking here about family members visiting loved ones in care homes. It is about the role that family members play in the care of loved ones in care homes. And I think that is both an important point to recognise, but it also may be, and it's why the Health Secretary was keen to meet with family representatives as soon as possible, it may be that that does provide some of the answers and solutions to us as we try to strike the right balance. What I'm saying here is of no comfort to anybody in this position. As I say, we've all, I'm sure there's very few people in Scotland that haven't had at some point experience of a loved one in a care home. We all understand how difficult this is, and so what I'm about to say comes as no comfort to anybody in this position. But in the midst of a whole host of daily decisions that are the most difficult I've ever faced in my life, this is the most difficult. I have perfectly legitimately, over the course of the last weeks and months, been challenged in the chamber about the numbers of people who died in care homes at an earlier stage of this pandemic. And, you know, absolutely, that will stay with me forever, that whole experience. Now, that doesn't mean that we then take an approach that is overly cautious and keeps people away from their loved ones. Absolutely, that would be equally wrong thing to do. But it does mean we take these decisions so seriously about trying to get this as right as possible. And I would ask people, whether you agree or disagree with the conclusions we are reaching here, is please don't doubt the care and the seriousness and the real weight of responsibility that we all feel in reaching these decisions. And we will try with families and with those who speak up for their loved ones rightly, so we will try to get that as right as possible and to get back to a position as quickly as possible that people want to be in. And also, as we have to do in so many aspects of this pandemic, use it as a way to ask some of these more fundamental questions, which is one of which is what is the role in care of family members for people in care homes. So, you know, none of that helps a person who's not seeing their loved one in a care home. I know that, but I hope it does give some indication of the fact that these are not straightforward decisions and they are ones that we do take very, very seriously.
Thank you. Can I move